is a country full of adventure. Earlier that day, outside the small city of Baracoa, we had the opportunity to sample locally produced, organic chocolate. With our stomachs full and a smile on our face, we continued further into the countryside toward our next adventure. Along our route, we stopped to see a man-made tunnel carved out of the rock which covered the road. They say this rock slid from the hills, blocking the road. Unable to move it, they had to carve and chisel their way through to reopen the road to the remote communities to the east. Pressing onward, we wandered through a small village boasting a spectacular view. It was here we climbed into the rowboat and began our trip down the coffee-brown waters at the bottom of this canyon. As we drifted downriver, we had the chance to simply look up. The walls of the canyon were tall but distant. Green foliage swept by above and below. I grew up around water. Living in Nova Scotia, having access to water is simply part of life. And we were even more fortunate as kids, as we had a piece of land to camp on, where we could explore the water there by canoe or paddleboat. As the river levels dropped, we ended up ditching the boat and going by foot. So we weren't quite sure what to expect out of today. We had booked this tour yesterday. We met up with our guide on the street and we knew what a tour like this would go for, and we ended up getting a decent deal. But it poured all last night and it poured all this morning. Luckily, on our way here, the skies have cleared, and so far it's been a great experience, and looking forward to see what else we're going to be doing today. The muddy ground would have been a perfect place for water shoes, but without them, we resorted to going au naturel. During our time on our walk, we saw interesting animals and plants, including these ants, simply going about their day, these colorful snails along the base and branches of the tree, and this plant who dislikes the touch of man. Heading back to our vehicle, we knew we had one additional stop left, some time at the beach. What'd you say, hon? What?
Is that me?
Oh, I thought that was you.
Yeah. Is that you?
Despite the rain earlier that day, the clouds began to break. Before settling down and relaxing, we decided to walk the beach and feel the soft, pale yellow sand beneath our feet. Finishing up our walk, we headed back to our guide and prepared to soak up the sun with some much-deserved downtime. Now, this is a great way to spend an afternoon where it finally turned out sunny. Luckily for us, we don't have to sit right on the sand. We brought our blanket here by FE Active, and today we're going to enjoy this beach without getting much sand on us. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, so we have been talking to a couple people that we've met periodically throughout the trip that we saw in Santiago and now that we see here in Baracoa. And it's one of those things where you kind of need to know how much people are paying for things, so you know whether or not the price that you get is comparable and fair. So through talking with these other people, we learned that we should expect 16, 17 CUC or so. Of course, this started off at 24, which we knew at that point was not a good price. And then eventually it went down to 20, like she says, and then it was 16. She dropped it down to 15, and they said, okay. So it seems as though all these tours are the same tour. So this is not going to be something unique that only, me and her are going to be able to experience. This is something that each and every one of you can experience if you come to Baracoa. There's going to be people approaching you like crazy for tours. So you're definitely going to have an opportunity to do that if you don't go through a designated booking. So for us, this isn't an official tour guide per se, although he's doing all the same places and we're running into people on official tours. But we like the smaller, just us, so it's just us and then the driver and our guide. And although this tour perhaps isn't as authentic as possible, it did cover a lot of the things that we wanted to do while in Baracoa. So for us, even though it's a tour and we typically don't do the tour side of things, it was definitely worth it for us. We looked into renting bicycles, we looked into a variety of different options, and as far as bang for your buck goes, this was the most, this was the thing that made the most sense for us. So.
And but please, like, expected, like, all stuff, people try to sell any stuff.
That's right. So, you know, being a pre-planned tour, they stop at places where they know there's going to be a restaurant where you can buy something from them, or, you know, they go to these traditional seaside fishing villages, but they've all got stalls set up for you to buy the same things at the same places. So as much of a traditional place that it is, it really isn't. You know, it's set up, it's pre-planned. So don't be surprised. I mean, maybe that's something that you're looking for. You know, you have the option to buy your souvenirs wherever you go. If it was a traditional village, there wouldn't be anything like that set up. But, you know, it's a tour, so it is what it is. But that being said, we've enjoyed ourselves so far, and, you know, a tour here in Baracoa may be worth it. Interested in learning more about our journey through Cuba? Take this time to subscribe to our YouTube channel, or visit us on our website for additional written material at joshuatravelguide.ca. Are you looking for something a little more hands-on? Why not join us for an excursion through Cuba for a truly authentic experience? Learn more about these and more on our website. Why not share the love? If you enjoyed the video, do us a favor and share it with a friend, because together we can share the world.